Good morning and welcome. It is August 29th, 2020 on a lovely Saturday morning in the Pacific time zone. Welcome to today's episode. There are a few things that I want to talk about today. In no particular order, let's just see how it goes. Why don't we start out with homophobia? So the other day, I was having lunch with some people, and the topic of someone who had died in the last week or so came up, and one person said, he was a very controversial character, and I said that I had never listened to him and had always walked out of the room when he talked, and would have nothing to do with him because he was misogynistic and homophobic. And I started to think about it a little while later, and I said to myself, I still have no use for this person, and I know that he did a lot of good for a lot of people, and I'm glad that he did. Personally, I don't want anything to do with him, one way or the other. Anyways, regardless of that, I then had to ask myself at some point, it was later on the day, or maybe it was the next day, I was thinking about the conversation. And the one thing that I wish that I had said when I brought up the fact that he was misogynistic and homophobic was I said, would have liked to have also said, as I am too. And some of this is really ingrained. I can catch myself being misogynistic. I can catch myself being homophobic. Straight men scare me sometimes, particularly if they're really nice to me. It just freaks me out. And that's really internalized homophobia. Really internalized homophobia. And, I'm a product of my generation. I do my best not to be that way, but I'm still that way. And I also am a white male. And there are just some internal things that have been learned that unless I'm paying attention, they can rear their ugly head, even though I am part of a minority and know what it's like to be cast down upon. I can still do it. So, as always, it's really valuable to turn the finger back and say, well, do you have that in you, Mark? Yeah, you could. You're a product of your society. Regardless of how liberal you think you are, you're a product of your society, and sometimes it's almost as if it's incapable of being anything else. I was talking to a friend who I've referenced a number of times. He and I talk a lot about what's going on here. He's one of the few people that I can have a conversation with because he is, kind of more realistic about what's going on than I see a lot of other people, a lot of friends of mine who live in hope. And shit. I was talking to my friend, and I said that I had made some decisions about focusing in more on the things that I need to get done on a daily basis and to work on my goals, and not really maybe not read the news anymore. But I also know that that's not a good thing either. And the one thing that I said to him was, I said, regardless of how much I work on this and focus in on my own stuff, I still am a product of what is going on here. And I am still affected by it. This is a living, breathing organism that has malfunction going on in a rather large way. And I'm talking about the United States at this point, but you can bring it down to looking at it from, for example, the physical body. Now, the physical body always has stuff going on that needs to be corrected. However, at some point, even at 35%, well, I wonder where I got that figure. Anyways, that can ultimately destroy the body. And so no matter how much I focus on that, how much I focus on what's going on in terms of my own stuff and being, really good at that, there is another part that is going on, and I am a product of. And this brings me to the second part of what I wanted to talk about, was that after I did my video yesterday, the one thing that really struck me was after I read the news, I essentially went into a large case of despair. And despair in a very conscious way. I was clear that that's what I was in. I was clear I didn't have to take any action on it at the moment. I was also clear that I needed to consider what actions needed to be taken at some point. And then I was able to go on with the rest of my day and get a lot of things done. So it's the dance. One more time, it's the dance. It's the dance between focusing on what I am supposed to be doing, what you are supposed to be doing for your own personal self, putting the face mask on first, and then seeing what else is going on. And yeah, I'm sorry, I just had flashes of what's going on in the country on this week. This week is just, it just continues to fall apart. And at some point, well, and I've said this many times, so I'm not going to go there. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go with the dance. I'm going to go with the fact that I have to be on both sides. I have to be whole in regards to this. Just like I had to acknowledge the fact that I can be misogynistic and I can be homophobic, even though I am a gay male. I can still be homophobic. And even though I am a gay male, I can still be misogynistic. Two things that are elitist liberal society, which I am a part of, would condemn me for. To even say this on video, I could be condemned for actually admitting that that's a part of me. And then the other part of, and it's all connected together because I am ultimately a product of my society. And I can do good work, conscious work, to change to the best of my ability. But to ask for some sort of perfectionism in regards to this is mean. It's mean. It's bullying. And I'm going to end on a light note today. I have to say, I am just in love with this whole Jerry Falwell thing. Absolutely in love with this whole Jerry Falwell thing. I have a very kinky side to myself. And I can see what's going on here, and I am really annoyed at the fact that people won't talk about what's really going on there. And everybody knows what's going on. Well, not everybody. I think there are a lot of people who have no idea what a cuckold is. But what's really going on there? And then it's fascinating. But the other thing that keeps, in regards to that, real quickly, because I'm going to finish on this, the thing that strikes me so much, and I was listening to Dan Savage this week, and he hypothesized that Jerry really wanted to be found out because anybody could have kept that under wraps a lot easier than he had. And, I thought about that, and I'd already thought of that, but I hadn't thought about it to the degree that Dan Savage had thought about it, and I thought, Dan is correct about that. And then there was this very famous line that nobody picked up on all week long in the news, and that was Jerry saying, whenever that was, Monday or Tuesday, "Free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last." And I think that sums it all up. He wanted to be out of all of this, of all of it. And he got it. And now he doesn't have to behave for anybody anymore. He doesn't have to behave for his father. He doesn't have to behave for Liberty University. He doesn't have to behave to the evangelical community. He doesn't have to behave anymore. He can go out and do what the fuck he wants. Good for him. There have been better ways of doing it, but good for him. Thanks so much for listening. Bonjour.